Well, good morning. I hope you all are doing well. This is Matt Davis with the Meridian Public School District, and I am here with Miss LaVonda Germany, who is our elementary curriculum director. How are you doing?
Doing great. Glad to be here this morning.
Thank you for joining us. On this edition of the True Blue podcast, we're going to talk with her about pre-K screening, and we're going to talk about kindergarten registration. So, Ms. Germany, just to go ahead and kind of get started, now is kind of a busy time for you guys. So talk a little bit about pre-K screening and what that entails for parents.
Absolutely. Well, first, want to kind of say, give a shout out to pre-K and Meridian Public School District. This is the 25th year that Meridian Public School District has had pre-K. So we have a long history of working with our families and our 4-year-olds. So students must be 4 on or before September the 1st of this coming school year. When parents, what they will do is we have an online link, and parents have to register their child for pre-K screening. And so all of our students must be screened prior to being placed into a pre-K classroom. It's very simple. You go in, you put your parent's name, put parent's email address, we put the child's name in there, and then you are contacted about a date for your child to be screened. It's a simple process. You don't have to prepare your child for anything. There's nothing that you have to, prompt them for, but it's to see where your child already is, where they are with letters, numbers, shapes, those kinds of things. And so while the child is being screened, parents will complete registration information at a site when all of that is set up. And so the school district will contact parents. They'll contact them and let them know of a date and time for screening. We typically do our screening in the month of April. And so it is a Title I based program. And so students are based on need. We have a limited number of slots, but so we ask everyone, though, to come and have their child screened because we do our best to get as many children into our program as possible. We want our classes full. We want to be able to serve all that we can.
Well, that's fantastic. And with this being the 25th year of our pre-K program, that's pretty huge. If I'm correct, I believe Meridian was one of the first to actually institute a pre-K program and be able to provide that service for our students.
That is correct. Oakland Heights Elementary was actually the site of our very first pre-K classes. When it was begun there, I believe Dr. Kim Benton was the principal at that time, and it was actually called our Little Stars program then, and now they're called our Little Wildcats because it is our goal that they begin with us at 4 years old, and they remain with us through their educational career, and they graduate Meridian High School.
All right, so you're saying they're starting with us in that Little Wildcats program. If I'm a parent and I'm bringing my child into that program, what are some things that I would expect them to be able to learn or maybe refresh before they go into kindergarten?
Absolutely. So when they come in, pre-K it's an introduction to school. Our students, they're based in our schools, first of all. So they get to learn about what it's like to be in big school. They become part of the family of a school. They come in, they learn about routines in a classroom. We introduce them to letters and numbers. We introduce them to sounds and shapes. For those students who are ready, they begin to start reading basic sight words. And, a lot of people say, but aren't they too young to start that? It's not the expectation that every child come out of pre-K reading, but we want to introduce them to that process. The younger that we expose children to reading, the younger that we expose them to letters and numbers, then the better off they are going to be educationally. And so it's that beginning of the learning process. We want to be able to, give them that solid foundation that they're going to need for that success, because as they transition into kindergarten, then there's those expectations that they do learn those sight words, that they come into kindergarten and they begin, not only recognizing letters, but that as letters are put together, those letters start making sounds and those letters start making words. And, it's more than just their name, that they can start beginning reading basic sentences and they can start writing those sentences. And people are amazed when they see what our little ones can actually do when they have those solid foundations.
And that's the thing about it. You've always heard, children are like sponges. Whatever they're surrounded around, whatever they're getting on a daily basis, they're going to soak that up and learn that. So, what better place for them to begin that or continue that than our little Wildcats pre-K program?
Absolutely. The teachers we have years of experience. They come with the knowledge and the love for our little ones, and they are ready to welcome in a new batch as the students we have this year are preparing to move on to kindergarten.
That's fantastic. So, you mentioned these students that are in pre-K now moving into kindergarten. We just started kindergarten registration this week. So tell parents a little bit about when that's starting and then how long they have to register their children and things like that.
Absolutely. So one thing that we do want to clarify is the registration for kindergarten that started yesterday, so started March the 1st, is for students who are brand new to Meridian Public School District. Our students who are currently in our pre-K program, they are considered current students, so they will register for kindergarten a little bit later in the summer. But if you are ready for your child to enter Meridian Public School District next year, you are ready for them to go to kindergarten, then you would go to our district website and you would complete that process. It's actually a two-step process. The first step is some basic information that the parent will enter in, and it's, parent name. I think they have to enter an email address. And then within about 24 to 48 hours, the parent will receive an email back letting them know that they have been confirmed in the system. And then parents will complete the registration process for their child. That is when the parent will need to have copies of the student's birth certificate. They will need to have what's called a Form 121, which is the immunization form for their child. Parents will need 2 proofs of residency and then their parent ID to show who they are.
Want to know, and that's all important information. I know a lot of times, it's kind of specific, like government IDs. You can only have one of those. And then, I know a lot of times with our utility bills, they have to be dated within that month, if I'm not correct.
That is correct. Typically, we ask parents to have one item related directly to their dwelling, whether it's an apartment lease, whether it is a mortgage document, one of those items, and then another item such as a utility bill. And so since registration is in the month of March, if you haven't quite received a water electric bill yet, you may use the one from February, but it can't be dated prior to that. So February and March are your best bets. You can also use, I believe, your driver's license as one of those, but you need to make sure that it is current and up to date also.
Right. So with that, you said parents are going to register online. We've kind of tried to make that easier for parents. They can go to our website at www.mpsdk12.net, and that / the word register, the number 4, the letter K, and then 21. So hopefully, parents doing that will make that process a lot easier for the students. Now, talking about the second part of that process, do we know how long parents should expect that to last, when they're filling that out?
When they're filling that out, there are a few more documents and forms to do. So it's probably going to take them about 10 to 15 minutes online to complete that process, depending on, how fast of a typer they are. And they can begin the process and save it and come back to other documents if they need to. So, sit down, look at it in the evening if you need to, and then come back to it. But just know that your child is not completely registered until all of those documents are completed. And if they have questions, we encourage them to please reach out to us. You can call my office number, which is area code 601-484-3646, or they can reach out to any of the schools that are in our Meridian Public School District. The schools will be glad to help them, and we'll get them the information they need and try to make this process as simple as possible.
That's fantastic to know. So, and I'm thinking about a parent as well, like if they're not for sure what attendance zone that they live in, Is it possible if they have a question, they can just call a school, even if they don't live in that zone, and they can get them pointed in the right direction?
Absolutely. Schools have the maps there that lay out all of the zones, and all they have to do is call and give their physical address, and then a school can let them know, hey, you're in the TJ Harris school zone, or you're in Oakland Heights. So absolutely, that's a simple phone call, and we can help with that also.
Well, that would be fantastic to know as a parent. And now, I know we put the registration online. Can parents do that on a cell phone? Is that something they can do?
I believe they can. The screen's going to be a little smaller. So, if you could get to an iPad, if you can get to a desktop, laptop, that'll probably make your headaches a little bit easier. Just because trying to do it on the phone and you're trying to type on there is going to make it a little more difficult. But they can use their phone to screenshot birth certificates, to screenshot their proofs of residency, and upload those. But actually typing in the information may be a little more difficult, but if they're great with that, then they can more than welcome to give it a try.
Good deal. So as a parent registering for kindergarten, what are some things that students are going to learn as they get into kindergarten, or what are some things that they could even be doing, if they're coming out of pre-K, or maybe they've been in daycare or childcare somewhere else, that they can do maybe from now until the beginning of the year to prepare?
Absolutely. One of the best things that a parent can do with their child and for their child is to read with them. This week happens to be Read Across America Week. Today happens to be Dr. Seuss's birthday. So all of our schools are celebrating that also. So just take some time and read with your child, and then have fun playing with those words. Dr. Seuss did a lot of rhyming. And so, driving down the road, and ask your child, what rhymes with cat, fat, sat, bat. Let them make up pretend words. Give them just pencil and paper, and let them, take crayons and pencils and markers, and let them draw, and let them practice writing their name and writing letters. And don't worry so much about it being on straight little lines. If you have plain white paper, if you have paper with lines, just give them the chance to explore with pencils and crayons, and let them copy things that they see. Give them a cereal box and let them write the letters and numbers that they see on there, because the more experience they have with that, then again, the better prepared they're going to be. Our teachers are prepared. They're ready for them to come in. They're going to help them with letters and numbers and names and the sounds and, everything that school offers them. But it never hurts to have that little bit of edge that parents can give their child in talking to their child about the letters they see, and driving down the road and you see the golden arches for McDonald's, and that's a letter M, and just, the conversations that you have with your child and building their vocabulary is just always going to give them just a little bit edge to coming into school and being even more prepared.
Well, fantastic. Is there anything else we need to tell parents before we wrap up today?
I would just say, we are ready for your babies. We are wanting to see your child. We know in all the crazy times that are going on right now that, parents have had to worry about a lot, but we don't want your parents to worry about sending your child to Meridian Public School District. We have administrators, we have teachers, we have school families that are ready to welcome our new bunch of babies in, and we're ready for them. Reach out to us if you have a question about that registration. If you don't have a device to register, give us a call and we will help make that happen for you. We will help you through that process, because we're ready, whether it's welcoming your child to our little Wildcats and 4-year-olds or kindergarten at one of our 6 elementary schools. Just reach out to us and we're ready to see them become Meridian Public School District students.
Well, fantastic. Well, Ms. Germany, I thank you for joining us today. And I know we'll be chatting with you soon.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Matt.
All right. Well, again, this is Matt Davis. We hope you enjoyed this edition of the True Blue Podcast. Remember that you can download it in the Apple Podcast app, the Google Podcast app, or you can download it on our website at www.mpsdk12.net. Thanks again for joining us. This is the True Blue Podcast, a production of the Meridian Public School District, where learners become leaders.